As I concluded my 20-year tenure as president of the World Food Prize Foundation, I look back to 1999 when I arrived, had just one employee, 25 or so people came from outside Iowa to the World Food Prize ceremony, which was held wherever they could find a spot for it in Des Moines, and to the 25 students who were in the Youth Institute that we had. And what we achieved and what was developed and what created over these last 2 decades, with enormous support from our Council of Advisors, from the donors who have been so incredibly generous, to the laureates who are so inspirational, to the members of my staff, most of them very young, who had previously been interns, but I gave them great responsibility and they always came through. And I looked and said, well, what is it, what did we achieve? And I came up really with 6 general areas, 6 accomplishments. Number 1, we had made Norman Borlaug into a great Iowa hero, national hero, with a statue in the U.S. Capitol and him holding the Congressional Gold Medal. Second, with the bipartisan support of Governor Vilsack and Republicans in the legislature, we were able to create a ceremony in the magnificent Iowa State Capitol at which we can give our prize and which makes the World Food Prize seem like a Nobel Prize, like the Nobel Prize for food and agriculture. And as Norman Borlaug himself said, the ceremony exceeded even the one in Oslo where he received the Nobel Peace Prize. And we had taken that one-day, half-day symposium and turned it into the Borlaug Dialogue International Symposium, the Davos of global food security, the, quote, premier conference in the world on global agriculture, close quote, stated by Sir Gordon Conway, where great ideas would be discussed, where issues of food security and national security, of infrastructure and ending poverty, all could be brought to the fore. And we made Des Moines into the hunger-fighting capital of America by creating the Hunger Summit, bringing top speakers, bring all the organizations in Iowa, across the state, that are engaged in fighting hunger, ending hunger in their community, together for lessons learned. What can we take away? How can we improve what we're doing? How can we get businesses attuned to supporting endeavors like food banks and food pantries? Fifth, we had integrated the arts, culture, music with agricultural and humanitarian achievement. I commissioned a symphony to be written in honor of Norman Borlaug and first played by the Des Moines Symphony Orchestra. Brought some of the leading performers in the world to Des Moines. Ray Charles came and sang America the Beautiful, honor of John Ruan and Jimmy Carter, members of our Council of Advisors. Had Leslie Odom Jr., one of the stars of Hamilton, come and perform. It's a tribute to our new laureates. Had the Tokyo String Quartet, the finest chamber music ensemble in the world, performing in the Iowa State Capitol. Had dance troupes from India, pop singers from Ethiopia. I commissioned original choral pieces to be written. Had young artists like Anne Michael Langruth coming and playing her violin so magnificently, so beautifully, as a tribute to Norman Borlaug shortly after he passed away. And the Brazilian twins, who I plucked out of a slum in Rio when they were 19 years old, gave them a chance to perform in Des Moines on the stage of the World Food Prize, which led to their receiving scholarships to University of Northern Iowa and staying here. Simon Estes, the international opera star, singing the Iowa Corn Song, Norman Borlaug's favorite song, in Statuary Hall as his statue is unveiled. And we filled the Hall of Laureates with original art pieces to tell the great stories of Iowa's agricultural and humanitarian heritage, to tell the great achievements of the laureates, tell Norman Borlaug's great achievements through artwork, through stained glass windows. Was an amazing way of bringing the arts, music, culture, poems, all together to recognize and inspire great achievements that take place often in rather dirty places have to get your hands dirty in making agricultural breakthrough achievements. And sixth, we took this 19th century designed Des Moines Public Library building and raised $29.8 million to transform it into the Dr. Norman Borlaug Hall of Laureates, filled with art telling these stories of Borlaug, of John Ruan Sr., of Iowa rescuing the World Food Prize, of how the laureates are the all-star team of the single greatest period of food production and hunger reduction in all human history, and telling the pageantry of the 10,000-year history of human agriculture. And at the same time, making the building LEED Platinum, which means it's at the highest level of energy efficiency and resource conservation, almost impossible to do in a 19th century building that's on the National Register of Historic Places. But I take great comfort that we have a 100-year lease, so that at the beginning of the 22nd century, this building and Dr. Norman Borlaug's legacy will still be inspiring great achievements in reducing hunger and poverty, or maybe, just maybe, be the place to celebrate fulfilling Norman Borlaug's dream of eradicating hunger and malnutrition from the face of the earth. Was an amazing 20 years. I feel very privileged to have been part of this journey to carry forward Norman Borlaug's legacy, and particularly have achievements in those 6 areas